I'm Lisa Gray, Executive Director with the Simsbury Chamber of Commerce. And I'm here today with our featured member for the month of February, Maggie Rueda. Maggie is the owner and director of Journey of Yoga LLC at 730 Hot Meadow Street. And Maggie has taught yoga in the Farmington Valley and West Hartford for over 10 years. Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. So Maggie, what is yoga?
Yoga is derived, the actual term itself is derived from Sanskrit. It means yoke or union. That's the actual translation. Essentially, it means to join the individual themselves with the divine or universal spirit. It's done holistically from both a physical perspective and a psychological perspective. The physical is by toning, strengthening, and aligning the body, the muscles, using the yoga postures that we call asana, as well as using breathing and meditation, which calm, focus, and discipline the mind.
Okay, now you mentioned the language of Sanskrit. What is the language of Sanskrit?
Sanskrit is the classical language in India. And it's one of the oldest Indic languages. It has there's examples of Vedic Sanskrit dating back to approximately 1500 BC. And it's possibly even earlier eras, but it's hard to determine that because it was originally just a spoken or sung language before it was ever written. So they're not sure how far back it goes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I think some people might be concerned that yoga would conflict with their religion. Should that be a concern?
That's a great question. That does come up sometimes. And yoga is not a religion. It's the most basic tenet of yoga is about love. And therefore it really, works really well with any religion, anybody's spiritual belief, whatever that might be.
So it can fit in well with anything.
Absolutely.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
And I've heard the term Hatha yoga used before. What does that mean? What is Hatha?
Hatha is a Sanskrit word, and ha means sun. Ta, which is pronounced with the tongue at the back of the mouth, ta, means moon. And it literally translates to those two words, and it's the union. So Hatha is the union of the sun and the moon. And it's basically about balancing the masculine and feminine aspects of ourselves with stretching and strengthening. And it's an umbrella term. Hatha yoga is an umbrella term that really is used in our country to describe all physical movement yoga versus some yoga which could be chanting mantras or whatever, but it's all about the physical movement.
Okay. And how many times a week should someone practice yoga? What do you recommend?
As often as you can. Twice a week is better than once a week, and once a week is better than nothing at all. Practice as often as you can, and for new students, when they're practicing, just start even with once a week, and then they can start doing it more often. Stretching, which yoga is one of the aspects of a complete comprehensive wellness program that's often overlooked, and so doing it as often as you can is great.
Okay. I think a lot of us have this stereotypical vision of someone doing yoga sitting cross-legged on the floor and chanting Om. What does Om mean when someone is doing that?
That's a great question. Om is considered as one of the greatest of all of the mantras that are used in yoga. And it's both a sound and a symbol. It has very rich meaning and depth to it. It's actually Om. You see it as O-M, but it actually is A-U-M. It's 4 syllables. It begins with the sound of ah and oo and ends with followed by silence. And the silence is the deep silence of the infinite. It connects us with the infinite. But the vibration that happens when you get to the like that is it vibrates at 432 hertz. It's been measured, and it connects us to everything in nature. All creatures in nature vibrate at that frequency, so it connects us to everything in nature.
Okay, so do you have to chant when you're doing yoga?
You don't have to chant. We use it at the beginning of class sometimes to signify the beginning. We use it at the end to signify the end. If you don't want to chant, you can just sit and listen to everybody else chant, and you absorb the vibration just by listening.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've noticed when I call you on the phone, I get your voicemail. You use a term in your voicemail message that says Namaste. What does that mean?
Namaste. Namaste. It's a traditional greeting and way of honoring somebody. It means, literally, I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one.
Oh, very nice. So yoga is a lot about stretching. How is it different from just regular stretching and other types of fitness?
Actually, I used to be a personal trainer, and the stretching that's done in yoga, the stretching done in physical fitness in gyms and what we learned when we were, in high school or whatever, was derived from yoga. Those stretches have been around forever, thousands of years, and you can see the similarities between some of the stretches that are done, in a gym or fitness environment and what we do in a yoga practice. So there's a lot of similarities between them, but yoga goes into a different realm. It's not just about stretching. It takes it into breathing and everything else that benefits us holistically.
Now, I've actually heard people say, "Oh, I'm not flexible. I can never do yoga." Does that make sense to you?
I always laugh when I hear that, because it's analogous to somebody saying, I can't lift this 5-pound weight or this 10-pound weight, so I shouldn't lift weights. Or I can't walk a mile, so I shouldn't walk. I really shouldn't walk. And anybody can do yoga. There's yoga for everybody. It can be done in a chair. It can be done even sitting on a bed. I mean, if somebody's bedridden, they could still do some very basic yoga stretches. If you think about just slowly building up your strength, if you're doing strength training, you slowly build up your stretching the same way over time, and anybody can do it.
Okay, so doing yoga will actually help improve your flexibility. So
Absolutely.
It's probably more important for someone who doesn't consider themselves to be very flexible to do yoga.
Much more important. I have both of my sons played lacrosse in high school, and as a result, they can't even sit with their legs crossed. Sit on the floor with their legs crossed because their hips are so tight, and they would hugely benefit from yoga. But of course, they're not going to take my classes because I'm mom. So.
Right, right. I hear you. I have teenage boys as well. So why is flexibility important for a person, though?
Oh, as we age, we lose both strength and flexibility, and most of this loss is due to inactivity. As our muscles lose flexibility, they're prone to more pain, tears, and aches that we can get. And so if we don't stretch, the loss of flexibility can lead to changes in our posture. So you see, a lot of times as we age, you see people that are rounding the upper back because our arms are always coming forward, so we're rounding like this. These muscles right here get very tight, and the ones in the back are stretched out. In yoga, we try to open up, stretch these muscles, and strengthen the ones in the back, so that we sit and stand tall, and it keeps us flexible and nimble as we age. It's really important.
And the same for the lower body as well.
Absolutely.
That stretching will help as we age with our mobility, which is very important for a lot of people.
Helps with balance too. When people, especially this winter, we've had so much snow and ice. There's been a lot of ice that people slip on, and if you have good balance, you're able to catch yourself. Usually
you're less likely to be injured.
Exactly.
Yes, right,
Exactly.
Right. That makes sense.
Right.
So I've heard that if someone is planning to practice yoga or attend a yoga class, they should refrain from eating immediately prior. Is that true, and why is that?
We do a lot of inversions in yoga. It doesn't mean you're standing on your head, but we do inversions such as downward facing dog. And we do other inversions, which are very simple inversions. But anytime the heart is above the head, the stomach is usually involved too. And people can experience reflux or sometimes feel nausea as a result of doing, stretches such as inversions or even twisting. A significant amount of twisting on a full stomach doesn't feel very good.
Right.
It goes back to the days when we were little and we were told to stay out of the swimming pool after we ate, same kind of thing. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So you might actually be working that area of your body that's working on digesting your food at the same time, and that's probably not a good idea. I can see that.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's a good point because we want the blood to move to the muscles and help, to release the muscles. And when we eat, all the blood goes to our stomach to help digest, and so we want it to.
So that's another reason.
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
very good. Can yoga help someone lose weight?
It can, as part of a comprehensive wellness program. Yoga combined with strengthening, if it's a more vigorous type of yoga that has some strengthening, or somebody's doing some strengthening on the side, as well as a cardio program. And looking at one's intake of calories. So, what is somebody's diet like? But yeah, yoga can definitely help if it's done regularly. I mean, you can't go to a gentle class once a week and expect to lose weight. It's like saying I'm going to walk down the road and come back and I'm hoping I'll lose weight after doing that once a week. It doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. So as part of a well-balanced overall wellness program, it fits in perfectly and can be very beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely.
For someone first starting out, can they expect that yoga will leave them feeling kind of sore in the muscles?
Yes. Generally, when people start out, they're going to feel sore just like we would with any activity that we do. And, because those muscles haven't been necessarily used for a long time. So it's best to know that you're going to feel a little sore. Usually recommend to beginners that they start with some type of a gentle class so that they can move into it slowly, and that they can also use the gentle class to learn the poses. In a gentle class, they'll have time to go over the poses versus taking a different type of class that moves a little more quickly. But yeah, everybody usually feels sore after yoga, and that's good. It's a good sore, not that back to the Jane Fonda days of no pain, no gain,
right.
But just a little soreness after it says, oh yeah, I stretched those muscles and I worked these other muscles.
Yeah, I was actually doing good. It's a sign that you're doing good for your muscles, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So I heard you mention gentle yoga. I'm sure that's something that you offer at your studio. What other types of yoga do you offer at your studio?
We offer several different types of yoga, gentle being one of the easier types that anybody can do, and at all age ranges and all levels of flexibility and all fitness levels. And we also offer restorative yoga, which is wonderful. You use props to get into the poses for restorative yoga, then we also have vinyasa, which is a very active type of yoga. It moves with the breath. So we move on, for example, an inhale, an exhale, moving. And then we have power vinyasa for those people who want something a little more challenging, and it's done in a heated room as well. So that takes it up a notch even more. So meditation is also included in a lot of the different yoga classes, and we have a separate meditation class once a week as well.
So it sounds like that power vinyasa yoga you mentioned would be perfect for that person who's trying to lose weight.
Yes, indeed. Indeed it is.
Yeah.
But they want to make sure that they're ready for it. Don't go jump into the power vinyasa. That's like trying to run a marathon when you first start running, Yeah.
And the props you mentioned in the restorative yoga class, what type of props are you talking about?
Oh, these are great because this is one of the benefits of going to a yoga studio versus a gym. I've taught in both, and gyms typically don't have the same amount of props that a yoga studio has. In a gym, you're lucky if you get what we have are little foam blocks that we used just to help us move from one pose to the next. or to support us to get a little deeper into a particular pose. In a yoga studio, in addition to the blocks, you have straps that you can use to hook around your foot and help you, stretch. You have bolsters, which are like big pillows. They're, nice and firm, nice firm pillows that you can either sit on or lie down on. There's also blankets, which blankets are wonderful, not just to cover ourselves with, but we use them to put under our knees if we're doing something on our knees to keep our knees from hurting. We use them for various poses to help us, again, to take it a little deeper. And then we have eye pillows as well as what we call rice bags, and they're weights that actually help us ground ourselves a little better. So there's a whole range of props that are used, yeah.
Okay. And I know a lot of women who do yoga, but I don't know a lot of men who do yoga. Should men be doing yoga as well?
Absolutely. In India, where yoga started, initially it was actually designed and developed by men for men. Women didn't even do yoga. And when it came to the United States in the 60s, I think it was more women that were doing it, and then it kind of died off. I think in the 80s, you didn't hear too much about yoga, but it's had a big, gain in popularity in the last 10 years. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry at this point, and so men, because of the types of, usually the types of things that they do, whether it's athletics, the sports and whatever, they have usually very tight hips. They're tight in the shoulders because they're very strong. So when we're strong, we don't necessarily have the flexibility. When we have lots of flexibility, we don't necessarily have the strength. It's all about getting a balance of those, both of those, like I mentioned in the beginning with the Hatha, the balance of the masculine and the feminine. And men would hugely benefit from it. It would help them as they age as well. And lots of sports teams now are doing yoga as part of their preseason training. Baseball teams right now getting ready for the baseball season to start, and lots of them are hugely into yoga as part of even the whole season.
Okay. Now, people are really busy these days, and they might think, I just don't have time for yoga classes. If they were able to fit in a few yoga classes, is yoga then an easy thing for people to do at home on their own?
Absolutely. People can start going to a studio to learn about the poses and learn how to properly do them. And then once they learn them, they can do them at home. All you need is a little bit of space. It's the size of a yoga mat, which is about 2 feet by 6.5 feet long. And you can put your yoga mat down anywhere and do your stretches in that place. I have a place in my bedroom that is relatively small, and I can do my yoga practice right there. And it's very easy. So yes, people can even get a DVD at the library, or order something on Amazon. There's lots of different DVDs available now with everything from gentle yoga to more vigorous types of yoga. Lots of different teachers that have published these, and so they're available for anybody to purchase. I would suggest that over a book, for example. Using a DVD, it's a little bit more, I think, easier to follow because you can see what somebody's trying to do as they get into the pose.
So you've left us really with no excuses to not be doing yoga.
Everybody should do yoga. Everybody would benefit from yoga. Absolutely. It's a passion for me at this point in my life, and I wish that I had been introduced to it when I was a teenager, and it certainly would have helped me cope with various things in my life at a younger age. But yeah, it is a great tool for anybody to have in their back pocket.
So speaking about that, we have talked a lot about the physical benefits of yoga, but what about the emotional and mental benefits? I've heard that those can be greatly affected with yoga practice.
Absolutely. Yoga can help you increase your mental clarity. It also elevates mood and increases optimism for people. It helps us improve our self-discipline, our concentration, and our level of focus. It reduces symptoms of anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and any neuropsychiatric disorders such as even schizophrenia or ADHD can help people calm down a little bit by practicing yoga, because the primary tool that we use in a yoga practice is our breathing. Most people don't breathe. And so just doing that regular breathing really helps, and it can help us reduce or sometimes even eliminate medications, along certainly with doctors' awareness of what's going on and their agreement. But I have a good friend who is asthmatic, and when we first started working together, I started teaching her how to breathe, and when we would take a walk together, she would bring her inhaler. And when I taught her how to breathe, she no longer needed her inhaler and actually stopped having to take her medication after a while. And her doctor couldn't believe, after years of doing that she was able to, get past that. So it really helped her.
Oh, that's
could help
great.
Anybody, yeah.
That's great. So if there were only one message that you could convey to people about the practice of yoga, what would it be?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. It is. It will make anybody's life so much better. Nobody ever has come to a yoga class and left saying, wish I hadn't taken this last hour and a half, practicing yoga. Everybody walks out, we call it yoga brain, at the end of class. They walk out, and if they forget their mat or they forget their water bottle, there was yoga brain. They always feel so relaxed after they walk out, and it's made a huge difference in numerous people's lives, and so everybody would benefit from it. So I hope all of you consider it.
That's great. Well, you've certainly convinced me, Maggie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I'm Lisa Gray, Executive Director with the Simsbury Chamber of Commerce, and this has been Maggie Rueda, Owner and Director of Journey of Yoga at 730 Hot Meadow Street. So Maggie, we have a few minutes left. I was thinking maybe you'd like to show me a breathing technique or two.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So let's bring your hands right onto your belly, and so your middle fingers are touching right about at your belly button. And as you breathe in, fill up your lungs and feel your belly expand. And then breathe out and let the hands come back, the fingers come back together. So again, inhale, and you feel your belly expand and the fingers part, and then exhale, and the belly drops back. Good. Again, inhaling and exhaling. Good. Now we're going to add a count to that, Lisa. So we're going to breathe in to the count of 5, and then exhale to the count of 5, and I'll count for you. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So that breathing you can use anywhere. I mean, you could be sitting in traffic and be, getting all tense because you need to get somewhere at a certain time. And you can just do that deep belly breathing, and it will calm you down completely. So that's one of the things that anybody can do, can take away from a yoga class.
Yeah, it seems great for relaxation and stress reduction.
Exactly.
Right? All
exactly.
Right. Thank you very much, Maggie.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.